Well, good morning. I'm currently in Tarbet, waiting on the ferry over to Inversnaid to start the Great Trossachs Path. So from the shores of Loch Lomond, good morning. I'm G from Red Man Walking, and today we're heading on a short trip across the loch to Inversnaid. Now this morning we got up and we were on the train for 7:30 from Larbert into Glasgow, and then on another train around to Arklet and Tarbet, where we've taken the short walk down the hill and down to the ferry terminal at Tarbet, where we're going to jump on. You'll be able to see it in the background here. Jump on the passenger ferry over to the Inversnaid Hotel, where the trail that we're going to be doing this weekend begins. We're on a path called the Great Trossachs Path that is going to take us from Inversnaid right across to Callander near Stirling. This is a 2-day walk, 30 miles. It's another glorious weekend. Look at the skies behind me. It always seems to happen. I've got brother John with me this weekend. He's sitting over here on the bench. If you've seen our 2023 West Highland Way trip, I think that was the last one that John and I did. No, it wasn't. It was the Cataran Trail. That's a lie. But yes, the weather is fabulous, and we're looking forward to another great weekend. Don't even have the waterproofs in my bag this time. But yeah. We've been very lucky. It's been a fabulous April and May this year in Scotland, and the loch is looking splendid. Right, I'll bring you back when we're on the ferry.
As the loch is so famous, but the loch actually takes its name from the hill. Ben Lomond is Scotland's most southerly Munro. A Munro in Scotland is any hill over 3,000 feet.
Well, that's us. We have had our breakfast roll. I'm saying breakfast roll, it's lunchtime. We're now going to get the factor 50 on before we make our way up the hill, along the side of Loch Arklet, and down to the Stronachlachar pier at the Pier Café. We're going to be heading around the side of Loch Katrin this weekend, and that's where we're going to be camping, somewhere along the side of Loch Katrin. I'm guessing round about where Andrew Park likes to test out some of his tents. If you've ever seen any of his videos, you'll know the section I'm talking about. Who knows, we might even bump into him this weekend. Anyway, time to get the factor 50 on, make our way up over the bridge at the top here at the waterfall, where we'll join the start of the Great Trossachs Path. Right, so that's us. We've headed up over the bridge at the waterfall, and this, just round the corner here, is where you join on to the beginning of the Great Trossachs Path. Now, you'll take in 5 lochs. You've got Loch Arklet, and well, you start off on Loch Lomond, then you're on to Loch Arklet, Loch Katrin, and then you're on to Loch Arklet. Thank you, John. And then on to Loch Venacher before you hit Callander along Route 7 of the Scottish National Cycle Routes. So this is the point where you'll see the signpost, where is it? It's there, that points you down to the Inversnaid Hotel. And this is the beginning of the Great Trossachs Path. And the signposts we're looking for, where are they? Here it is. That is your signpost for the Great Trossachs Path. Whilst the West Highland Way, you've got that wee white thistle. This one looks like a tree with a T on it for Trossachs. So right, we've now got to head uphill, and I know it's quite a climb to get up here through the bluebell covered hills and up on towards Loch Arklet. So of all the years walking the West Highland Way, I've never actually seen the fields of bluebells that you get in this section of Loch Lomond. But yeah, we're obviously arrived just at the right time, and the whole hillside is just covered in these beautiful wee purple flowers. Yeah, we've just stopped for a quick heart break. The heart's already up at 150 beats a minute. It is a steep old climb straight up out of Inversnaid on the start of the Great Trossachs Path. Take your time, especially in this heat. We're going to be heading up towards the Inversnaid bunkhouse. That's the first place you pass up the hill. And another spot that you can choose to stay at if you're doing the West Highland Way. Just be aware, at the end of your day, what would it be? Probably the end of day 3 if you're doing it that kind of itinerary. You've got a steep climb to get up the hill at the end. John was talking about a couple of YouTubers whose stay was there, and the wife had said, oh, it's only about another half a mile from here. 3.5 miles later, the husband was losing his rag at the fact that it was carrying on for so long. So yeah, steep climb up to the Inversnaid bunkhouse. But yeah, it's beautiful. We're in the shade at the minute. So we've got the dappled sun coming through, the hills of bluebells, everything's good in the world. Bumped into quite a few subscribers down at the Inversnaid Hotel. We thought we were never going to get away from the place. So for all of you who have watched the videos and stopped to say hi there, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. It helps to grow the channel. And on that note, if you're new to this channel and you're enjoying what's happening so far, press that subscription button, like the videos, and of course send me a comment. I always love to chat to folk who are out here, like-minded people who are out doing these trails. Right, I can't walk and speak at the same time, so I'll speak to you when we get to the top of this. Now we've made it to the top of the hill, and I have to say so far we've seen plenty of the Great Trossachs Path waymarkers, which is good, a bit like the Cateran Trail. You couldn't really go wrong because everywhere we needed a waymarker, there was a waymarker there. But yeah, we're in the shady side of the valley as we head up here towards the dam at Loch Arklet. And I have to say, I think it must be about 23 degrees today. That's what it was yesterday certainly, if not hotter. So quite glad to get a little bit of shade because we know we're going to be in the sunshine for big chunks of today. And the last thing we need is a bit of, jumping over puddles here, a bit of heat stroke. So, but the path seems quite decent. There's we just bumped into a couple who had just walked to the viewing point along there, and I'll insert a wee video here from a car park. So there must be a car park at the top of the hill here where you can take a wander down, see that viewing point without necessarily having to go all the way down the hill and down to the Inversnaid Hotel. Well, that's us. We've made it to the Rob Roy View car park. When you get to that, you're taking a left down the hill, and we're about to cross over the River Sneyd. Of course, it's the River Sneyd because Inversnaid is the mouth of the River Sneyd. And over the Arklet Falls. So I think we've got a little bit of road walking to do now before we get off the path again. But yeah, I always feel like once you've gone down, there's almost guaranteed to be another up bit at the other side. But yeah, hopefully the road's not too busy. Well, I've driven past this a few times, but this is my first time travelling past the Inversnaid bunkhouse by foot. It's a little bit of a climb up the hill from the Inversnaid Hotel, but yeah, from what I understand, this is quite a popular one. There are spots where you can stick a tent, you can obviously book into the cabins, and again, you can stop for a bite to eat in here. It's a converted church basically. But yeah, beautiful wee quiet spot up here at the Inversnaid. Bunkhouse. Right, I'm going to get off the road before I get hit by a car. Because I'm aware that this is the main road that takes you down to the Inversnaid Hotel. It's not the easiest place to drive to. We were talking about that. Somebody had asked about getting Ubers down to from Rowerdennan round to the Inversnaid Hotel because they want to miss out that section of the West Highland Way. Not an easy place to get a taxi from or to. But, right, lots of traffic coming up here, so tuck ourselves into the side. I'm going to put the camera away and concentrate, and we'll speak to you again when it's a little bit safer. So, at the garrison of Inversnaid, so we've had a short road section there from the Rob Roy View car park. At the garrison of Inversnaid, this is where you join the old military road and you'll head up the hill to the left at the garrison of Inversnaid. I knew there was going to be more uphill. I've just been speaking to John about what we're going to do when we get to our campsite tonight. I reckon I'm going to go in for a swim again in Loch Arklet. Haven't brought a lot of clothes with me this weekend. It is an overnighter, and really it's only John and I that are going to be a bit smelly, so which is fine. Yeah, there's some beautiful wee cottages up this way. It's my idea of heaven. I know my other half, she prefers to be somewhere where there's stuff to do, but it's so peaceful and quiet out here, and the cottages are beautiful. Beautiful, stunning little cottages. What's this one called? The Kelly Kettle. Oh, hang on, John, what's this? Ah, the Kelly Kettle. That's not the place where you get the ice cream, is it? I don't know. We'll have a look on the sign, see what it says. We know there's a place up here that does... Alright, so it's the Kelly Kettle Honesty Tea Room. So it's not the place where you get the goat's milk ice cream. That comes later on. Honesty hot tub. I don't know if the hot tub's an honesty thing, but yeah, so just at the top of the hill there's another wee honesty box. RSPB, Inversnaid. There we go. And that's open all year round, so that's quite good. Twitcher. If you're a twitcher, yep. So we're on the old military road, and up where this wee white cottage is would have been, well, it's called Garrison Farm, which was once a site of military barracks and is now under private ownership. So these guys would have been here looking to curb the rebellious Scots who were in support of King George, and the aim was to catch Rob Roy. Now, they did catch his son, but they never caught him, and his son was arrested in 1753, and he was hanged for his crimes. So, yeah, the English had a garrison up here, but now it's a beautiful wee white cottage. And there's no cattle rustling going on. There is a couple of Highland coos back there, but no cattle rustling. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's amazing how much the loch has dropped. We're seeing nothing but loch bed up ahead of us. The loch must be down a good 5-10 metres. That, of course, is down to the fabulous weather we've been having this last few months. Unseasonably warm weather. It's gotten to the stage now where the fire service in Scotland are asking people to be very careful with barbecues, not to have open fires. Because, yeah, everything round about here is tinder dry, just waiting to go up in flames. Dear. So, yeah, We do have a gas camping stove, which we'll be very careful with tonight about where we position it, so as not to have any unforeseen accidents and cause a bit of damage to any of the scenery and wildlife round about here. But yeah, the loch is unbelievably low at the minute. But I've just passed a group of guys who are down enjoying a bit of camping, car camping at the side of Loch Arklet here. And this is the second of the two lochs that we'll be passing alongside of, certainly today, with the third being Loch Catrin, which, you know, that'll take a chunk of today to walk along halfway, and then we'll be stopping to get our camping spot. But yeah, everything's looking very dry. If I turn you around here, you'll see the grass on the hillside is, yeah, it's bone dry. This is the kind of stuff that's it's going up. There was a group out on Arn who had been in a camper van and had used a disposable barbecue, which has set the grass on fire, and of course the wind caught it and it got out of control and it burnt a whole hillside and up into another valley. So yeah, if you're out and about at the minute, just be very careful. Try not to have open fires if you can avoid it. And it's warm. It's very warm. We're looking forward to getting a cold drink, maybe an ice cream, when we get down to Stronachlachar, to the pier down there. Well, that's us. We have finished Loch Arklet. That's the signpost back there. If you're wanting to head down to Aberfoyle, now I don't know if there's a path down that way. I've never walked that way myself. But yeah, you might have a long road walk along past Loch Chon, down past Loch Ard to get to Aberfoyle. We've gone straight ahead and we're now getting our first views down to Loch Catrin, which we have to make our way halfway round. Here it is in the background, to our camping spot for this evening. But before that, of course, we've got Stronachlachar and a refreshing drink before we make any route round the side of Loch Catrin and down to the final camping spot for this evening. I think we're both looking forward to that because it's a little bit on the warm side. And I'm aware that you probably can't see any of this because the sun's directly behind us. Yeah, we can feel it on our calves. But yeah, we've got a nice wee breeze, so that's certainly helping. But yeah, next stop, Stronachlachar, and a fresh drink of something or other. I might be off the drink. Remember I told you that Falkirk had won the league last weekend? I might have overdone it. Anyway, we'll see. Will I have a lager shandy when we get down here? I don't know. So just after Loch Arklet, you will be leaving the Loch Lomond and Trossachs camping management zone. That technically means that the guys who are camping back there at the side of Loch Arklet are probably camping illegally now. Whether the rangers come by and say anything to them, I don't know. But yeah, we can officially camp now beyond this point. Not that we were looking to stop before that anyway. It would have been a very short day, but yeah, that's something just to be aware of when if you're coming to do this little weekend trip. That yeah, you can't camp on the side of Loch Arklet as part of the Loch Lomond and Trossachs camping management zone. Anyway, not far to go now. We're just heading down the hill to Stronachlachar and the Pier Café. So obviously it's a trail I don't know, and one of the things I was worried about was food. Now if you've watched me on the West Highland Way, somebody commented on one of my videos, are you walking the West Highland Way or eating and drinking your way along the West Highland Way? The Pier Café, if you're doing this over a weekend, you know, you'll get a fantastic meal in the Pier Café. That's what, we had that about 3 o'clock. So that should keep us going. We've got another meal to have maybe later on at 6 or 7 just to top up. But yeah, that will give us enough calories to make our way 2/3 of the way down Loch Arklet and onto our camping spot for this evening. So yeah, food's not an issue. We've had something to eat for a late lunch at the Inversnaid Hotel down on Loch Lomond side, and now we've stopped off. And oh my goodness, we are full of, what was it, haggis and black pudding burgers we had, with a big dose of fries and salad as well. So yeah, we're just leaving the Pier Café behind. That's the Sir Walter Scott. Just leaving with the passengers heading back down to the other end of Loch Arklet. And we are now heading on to where we're stopping for the night. So as you head out of the Pier Café over on the side of Loch Arklet, you're going to be turning right back out the way you came in, and you're on a closed section of road which, you know, the walking's pretty easy going along here. It's not open to public vehicles. We bumped into maybe 4 or 5 bikes who, a lot of people, you can hire a bike from the far end of Loch Arklet to cycle round here, but we are heading north, which is the opposite direction from where we want to be going, because we want to be heading south, but we've got to get round the north end of Loch Arklet. But yeah, it's up and down a little bit. We've got some fabulous corbets to keep us company as we travel along this section. But yeah, it's easy going, and we know that at the north end of Loch Arklet is the MacGregor graveyard, famous for Rob Roy MacGregor's clan. So we're going to see if we can find that when we get to the top here. And yeah, the going's quite easy, it's quick because we're on road. Not too punishing on the feet because yeah, we're only doing this section of it. But yeah, when we get to the top, we'll bring you back and hopefully let you see the clan MacGregor graveyard. So that's us. We have reached the end of Loch Arklet at the north end. It's saying on the sign there 2.5 miles back to the Stronachlachar pier. So that's taken us about an hour to get here, and the pier at the other end, Trossachs Pier at the end of Loch Arklet, is 10 miles away. Now we're now heading the 10 miles tonight. That's where breakfast will be in the morning. We reckon we've got about another 6 miles to go. So if we've taken an hour to do 2.5 miles, it's going to be another couple of hours before we stop to pitch the tents for the evening. So that's going to be ideal because it's now, what, about 5:30? No?
20 to 5.
20 to 5, so it's not even 5 o'clock yet. So yeah, we'll be looking to stop around about 7:30, but we didn't really get going until about 12 o'clock this morning at noon. So yeah, you're looking at about 7 hours of walking to get to the kind of midway point of the Great Trossachs Path. But I tell you what, if you get a day and you get the weather like we've had today, what a fantastic way to spend the weekend. And by the end of it, you could say that you've walked nearly, what, 3/4 of the way around Loch Arklet. Well, that's what it's going to feel like. But yeah, it's peaceful out here, and there's some big houses to have a look at as well. If you're fortunate enough to own one of the properties around here. But yeah, a wee bit more road walking to go, and we should be on to our final spot for the evening. Now we've got the sun at our backs, so we can get our necks burnt. Right, we'll bring you back later. So down here, I'm assuming this is the McGregor graveyard that the guy driving the Sir Walter Scott was talking about. It's quite cool. It's almost like they've reclaimed a bit of the loch in order to set the graveyard onto it. So yeah, looks like a perfect spot to put a tent on as well. I'm guessing that's not allowed. So yeah, we're going to wander on a bit further and see what's what. Oh, actually there's an information board down here. So we'll give you a little bit more information. 50 yards along the road here. Yeah, not the most information I've ever seen about whatever this is. But yeah, okay. So that apparently is the McGregor, of the Clan McGregor graveyard down here. Anyway, people down there paddle boarding into the evening. But yeah, we're... oh, actually, there's a path down here. Will we go down and have a look at it? Let's go and have a look at it. Why not? We're here anyway. Hard to read what it says, but it's something about 1699, so these are pretty old graves. A lot of them in a kind of state of disrepair. Quite a beautiful wee final resting spot, I guess. So yeah, I'm glad we came down here. This is something a wee bit interesting to see on the trail. Oh, and this would be like a great camping spot. You'd have the water lapping against the wall here. Perfect wee place. Yep. As I say, not a bad spot for your final resting place. The Clan McGregor graveyard. There we go. Right, we're starting to see our first campers, which, can I be honest, is it worrying me? Maybe a little bit. I'm just wondering whether they've come across from Stronachlachar or whether they've paddled down from the other end, but I'm hoping we can get a camping spot a bit further down. Otherwise it's going to be a long walk on to, or here, yeah. So there we go. Right, back to the road. We've got about another, I reckon, 4 to 6 miles to find out where we're going to be camping for tonight. So we're now getting views down to the south end of Loch Arklet. And just ahead of us in the middle, in that little bump at the end of that hill range, that's one of Scotland's probably most popular little hills to climb. That's Ben Ann. And you can always guarantee the car park at Ben Ann is chock-a-block if you don't get there early. Only takes about maybe an hour to get to the top of, but great views when you consider the height of it. Well, that's us. We've left the road again at the nearly 13.5 mile mark. I'll be honest, my legs are kind of done now. I was saying to John, West Highland Way, I would normally give myself the first day just to get my legs used to walking the distance. On this one, because it's only a weekend walk, you're kind of straight into a 15-mile day if you want to get it completed over 2 days. And we're now at about 13.5 miles. So another 1.5 miles and I'll be looking to stop and get the tent up, I think. Feeling a bit done. The terrain's not been difficult. Once you get up the hill from Inversnaid, it's a fabulous path all the way along to Stronachlachar. And then from Stronachlachar you're on the private road, which brings you along to, as I say, this 13.5 mile mark, where we're now back onto your kind of more typical trail path. But the shadows are getting longer. And yeah, steps are getting shorter as John and I both start to get a bit weary. Yeah, it should be a cracking night. We're not expecting rain overnight. And there certainly wasn't an aurora warning last night, so we've got our fingers crossed that if the aurora goes off tonight, we're going to be in a very dark spot. Perfect position to get a good view of it. So fingers crossed for that. If not, it'll certainly be a starry night. But yeah, another couple of miles and hopefully next time I speak to you, we'll have the tents up at the side of Loch Arklet. Well, we nearly got to 15 miles, but we found this spot right next to the path. It has a bench, and that was good enough for us at about 14.5 miles. So today we've been on the ferry from Tarbet across to the Inversnaid Hotel, where we got a nice lunch. And then from there we went along the side of Loch Arklet on a fantastic path that yeah, we saw lots of people in cyclocross bikes heading along there. Down onto the pier at Stronachlachar, and then we've walked north along the north end of Loch Arklet. That's the first time I've ever done that. That was a good couple of hours walk to get up to the top end to start walking back, and this is us nearly at the 15-mile mark. As I say, I'm going to spin you around and let you see where we're camped. So we're right on the side of Loch Arklet, and this is right at the side of the Great Trossachs Path, but we have this fabulous wee bench at the back where we're going to be able to sit and enjoy the final bits of sunshine on the side of Loch Arklet before turning in for tonight. It's about 20 to 8 at the minute, so you know, we started at about 12 o'clock. We did stop for a good hour at the pier at Stronachlachar. But moving time, we've probably been about 6.5 hours today. But it's been a warm one. Anyway, from the shores of Loch Arklet, this has been day one of the Great Trossachs Path. I'm going to sign off now, and all that remains for me to say is go and create your own adventures, and we'll see you on the next one.